All right, everybody, welcome to the Paranormal Portal. I'm your host, Brent Thomas, and I'm going to do my best to keep you absolutely entertained and enthralled for the next roughly hour. So I hope I do my job, and I hope you have a good time. Thank you all to all of you. Thank you all to all of you who are here, and I really appreciate you guys coming in night after night to check out these live streams. That's really cool. I love to see the interaction and the presence. It really does. The more of you out there that are watching, and it's not really a numbers thing, but it kind of is. It's like, the more audience you have, the more energy you give, and vice versa. The energy from all of you really affects me, and I really feel energized and excited when you guys come in day after day. So, hey, David, good to see you. David Barnes, yo, Brent. Hey, yo, David. How you guys doing? And hello to everybody. Glad you guys came in. I hope you guys are having a great week. It's Thursday night, so tomorrow's Friday. I mean, it's looking good, right? We're going to be kind of killing the heat snap that we've had. Tomorrow looks like it's going to be kind of cooler here, which is good. I mean, I don't mind the heat because I hate the cold. I hate the cold. It's just, I don't know. When I was younger, I was a cold kind of guy. I mean, that didn't sound right at all. When I was younger, I used to participate in winter activities a lot. But after really shredding my knee in a downhill skiing accident, and then in my jobs throughout the years, every ache and pain gets worse in the cold, and my body feels like hamburger in the winter. So winters for me are really tough, and my happy place is shorts, barefoot, and a t-shirt, and that's about it. I mean, that's where I'm happiest. But I know we got to suck it up every 6 months or so, but I can only rejoice in the heat when it comes. But I do like my air conditioning too. I'll just put it out there. But anyway, this isn't about me. This is the Paranormal Portal. This is our night terrors, and we are going to be discussing some UFO encounters again tonight. I know it's a topic that a lot of you are really into, and I think I share your enthusiasm. It's a topic that, of all of the topics, I think I probably learned the most about Bigfoot and about ghostly stuff. For me, those were the big ones. But as I've done the show and as I've had experiences of my own, I have always had a healthy respect for the UFO stuff. It's just, it's such a wide, broad phenomena full of so many nooks and crannies and ideas and theories and conspiracies and stuff that it just blows my mind. It's like with ghosts, it's a ghost, And granted, there's many ghostly things and entities and such. And with Bigfoot, there is a share of conspiracy stuff in there too. And I hate the term conspiracy theorist because that to me automatically is a disqualifier. And I don't think any idea can be disqualified in the paranormal or maybe in anywhere in life until it can be proven absolutely false. It becomes a possibility. And I think that of all of the fields of the paranormal, though, there's none so chock full of conspiracy and fantastic far out ideas as the UFO phenomena. And again, this isn't me saying a bunch of it is flaky and weird and stupid, but it's me saying there's a lot of it I just can't wrap my head around. And that's just me personally. And it's again, not me disqualifying it and saying that's a bunch of crap. It's just my clean take on that, So we're going to talk about UFO stuff tonight because I do love the phenomena. I do believe and know it's real, as I've witnessed it myself. I've witnessed UFO flying saucer right in front of me. And to get the whole story on that, go back into the night terrors or bedtime stories from beyond playlist on our YouTube, and go to one of them called Walk in My Shoes or Walking in My Shoes. I told a bunch of my own stories, or listen to my appearance on Sasquatch Chronicles or on any of the other shows that I've been on, because it always comes up. I did an interview with Kate on Believe podcast and talked about it there. So I've discussed the hell out of my own experience, and I've had a couple others since then. But I love the topic of UFOs. I think it's exciting, and it's encouraging that there's other life forms out there that may be well advanced of us, but are maybe keeping tabs on us. Maybe we're kind of their guinea pigs too. I don't know. I'm not quite sure what they're doing here, but I at least try to be optimistic about the fact that they're here, and I hope they mean well. And so that's just my 2 cents, because I'm pretty sure if they didn't mean well, they would have already done whatever they wanted to do. They wouldn't wait for us to get more technologically advanced. They would just say, boom, done, it's ours. So I don't think they came all this way just to stomp on the anthill, so to speak. I think they came this way to be maybe watching what we do, watching how we do it, or maybe they're kind of guiding us in a sense. I don't know. I'd like to believe that anyway, but man, that might just be wishful thinking too. We could just be the goldfish in the bowl and they're just hitting the glass every once in a while. I don't know, but it's all possible. It's all possible. So we're going to get into that tonight. And the phone lines will be open, of course. 720-923-0500 is the numbers for fun right here on the Paranormal Portal. So if you've got something paranormal or UFO-y of your own to talk about, I'd love to talk to you. And again, 720-923-0500 is the numbers to call in if you want to talk. I'm happy to listen to you. Also, if you want to just email, you don't like the idea of talking, it kind of makes you nervous or stresses you out, you can email me at paranormalportalradio@gmail.com. Again, paranormalportalradio@gmail.com. So that's how you get in touch with us here on the show. So I hope you guys will do that. All right. So I think that's all the laundry list up front. I hope you all are ready, because it's time for bed. All right, I think we are officially underway here. Herman Vera says, is Spock allowed to play poker? I don't know. He'd have a hell of a poker face, though. It'd be hard to tell when he's bluffing. Unless he just can't lie. Maybe he just can't lie. I don't know, because he's logical. It's all logic, and lying is illogical. Unless the logic is that lying is good, because it gives you the ability to lie good is beneficial in the game like that as a strategy. Maybe that's, I don't know. Hammer Lane Legends podcast has an episode about pickup and delivery to a deep underground military base, military mystery object. Yeah, that's Tony's show. Tony does the Hammer Lane Legends. It's a great show. I've listened to a few of their episodes and really enjoyed it. I wish I had more time for that, but yeah, that's the deep underground military bases, like Dulce, New Mexico, is allegedly has one, according to Phil Schneider, and his experience in actually being a part of it. To some degree in getting into a firefight, allegedly, with aliens. Now, Phil passed away. Whether he was encouraged and helped in that endeavor, or if he just naturally passed away, I don't know. But his stories are really compelling. He had in his possession at one time when he was doing talks a bunch of exotic materials that were allegedly from out there, from some of these intelligent races that were recovered or from the military or whatever. I don't know where he got his hands on all of them, but just a very interesting guy. If you ever get a chance, his videos are a little dated now, but still his presentation, he's a smart guy. And he got really screwed up because he got hit by something that apparently a large gray alien shot at him, and a special forces guy jumped in the way and took the brunt of it, but he still got an impact from it and then screwed up his hand and his chest or something like that. Yeah, it really messed him up. So Phil Schneider's kind of the guy, I think, that kind of, I don't know if he broke the information out there and brought it out about the deep underground military bases, but it's pretty creepy stuff. I don't know. Yeah, I know Tony's interviewed. I think he interviewed it on the confessionals as well. He interviewed a lady that apparently had they're called DUMBs, D-U-M-B, deep underground military bases. There was one underneath her cabin or house in some mountainous area. And it's a really cool episode, and that's on the Confessionals podcast. So if you ever get a chance, head over to the confessionalspodcast.com and check out some of those older episodes. And his newer episodes are great too. Tony does a great job on all his shows. He's just a consummate professional. Everything he does, he's dialing it in, and he's always working on making his shows better and better. I mean, the guy is just uber motivated. So you got to tip your hat to the man. But anyway, yeah, I've enjoyed a lot of his shows. All right, let's get to some of the stuff that I'm going to share with you. Duns. It's deep underground military base, not deep underground military dumps. So I don't know, Herman. It's a B at the end, though. I'm pretty sure about that. Anyway, let's get to these articles that I got ready for you. The first one I wanted to share with you tonight came from theexpress.co.uk. And this is an article. When did this come out? Oh, June 3rd. So it's just Thursday, actually today. Came out today, folks. So let's read it. It says, Pentagon's UFO report exposes split in U.S. Department of Defense claims UFO investigator. That doesn't surprise me. It seems like our militaries have always been very divided in their intelligences anyway, to a degree. I mean, they all kind of report uphill into, the CIA or the Homeland Security or whatever. But we had Donald Raymond Schmidt on, and he was talking about the craft that crashed in New Mexico and in the 1947 or whatever, and how the Air Force sent out an entire platoon or battalion to collect a weather balloon. And if you ever want to hear an amazing episode getting into the real nuts and bolts of the Roswell crash and all of the stuff, all of the controversy about it, definitely check out our interviews with Donald Raymond Schmidt. And we've ported him over to our podcast as well, because he was just such an amazing guest. So much information. And he has interviewed many of the people that were family members of the people that were there at the time. And his information is just top notch. So, and he talked about how the Navy has their own protocols, as was reported more recently, and that there definitely is a division between the Air Force and the Navy as far as their collecting evidence and researching the UFO anomalies. I'll just say anomalies. So very interesting stuff. But definitely check out Donald Raymond Schmidt, not only on our show, but wherever you can find him being interviewed, because just an amazing guy. Really, truly an amazing guy. Pentagon's looming report on UFO phenomena has exposed a rift between the U.S. military and the country's intelligence communities, a prominent UFO investigator has claimed. I bet you this is probably going to be, what's his name with To the Stars? Luis Elizondo is who I'm thinking of. But let's see. Pentagon is expected to reveal any day now what the U.S. Department of Defense knows about UFOs, or in military jargon, unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAPs. Compiled by the Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force, the report will present unclassified material relating to a string of recent high-profile UFO videos leaked to the internet. Although some pundits expect the report to gloss over the juiciest information out of national security reasons, that's what I've been saying. That'll be the one thing they'll use to maintain the cover-ups. But many are hoping it will vindicate more than 50 years of UFO research. America's interest in UFO phenomenon is now at an all-time high, but it remains to be seen whether the Pentagon report satisfies some of the wildest expectations. And while reports of little green men and mysterious craft swarming U.S. Navy ships have dominated the headlines, a former investigator with the British Ministry of Defense, it must be Nick Pope then. Oh, yeah, it says Nick Pope here, has told express.co.uk there's another side to the story. Nick Pope, who investigated UFO phenomena for the British government in the 1990s, believes the Pentagon report has exposed a split of camps within the upper ranks of the U.S. military and intelligence agencies. The split may be along the lines of how the narrative is being spun. Are we being visited by extraterrestrial aliens, or is it a matter of foreign intelligence services spying on the U.S.? I really don't think... I don't know. I mean, anything's possible, I guess, but just judging by what has been observed and reported by so many pilots, both military and domestic, and people on the ground, just everyday people seeing these things, the movements witnessed are impossible to what we understand, as far as I know. I mean, who knows what's in black projects or what they've already uncovered or been able to achieve, but as far as common knowledge is concerned, whatever's going on up there seems to be well beyond our capabilities. Now, there is the apparent was the former head of Skunk Works, Lockheed Martin Skunk Works. Well, I think he made a statement publicly or in a speech that we now have the technology to bring ET back home. And that would seem to suggest there's some pretty advanced things that they are capable of doing in their little black projects or in their little compartmentalized development things. But whether that's true or not, who knows? I can't imagine a person with that station and with that access to information could be just blowing one out his tail, you know. It seems he would be coming from an informed place to make a statement like that. So maybe some of this stuff could be either ours or someone else's. It's hard to say, but it's anybody's guess. But that's an interesting take. I don't know. I think I'm not really too overly optimistic about the upcoming disclosures. I don't know what that's going to entail, but I think there's going to be a lot of disappointed people because it's just too easy for them to say, well, we can't talk about this. We'd love to tell you, even though you said we had to do this, we can't talk about this, this, and this because of national security. It's the one big catchphrase that just allows a lot of things to remain under the table. And that's unfortunate because, you know, in reality, it's supposed to be a government by the people, for the people, of the people. And it's definitely not. We've got a caste system that is almost monarchical or dictatorial, whereas this government entity is so far removed from the common people. And it's like I understand there's needs to keep some things private and not openly discussed because they could have to do with intelligence and true threats to our national security. But there's seems to be a lot of under the table wheeling and dealing, and I just keep getting more and more disappointed the more I learn. But interesting. I don't know. That was kind of a non-article, really. I mean, Nick Pope says that. Okay, great. What does Nick Pope know? And he's not saying anything groundbreaking in any of that. It's like, yeah, there's a division between them. Okay. Thanks, Nick Pope. Appreciate you taking up our time. Here's an article that I found on Ranker, and don't forget at the tail end of the show, folks, we got the trail cam terrors. We got a good one coming up tonight. That's all I'm going to say. All right. So this is from Ranker, and this is now some of this might be redundant because again, these articles just farm the same sources for information, so a lot of time we get repeats. But this is one from Ranker.com. UFO reports by pilots and astronauts that have us convinced. This is by Scott Marcano, or it could be Marsano. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but it was updated February 10th of this year. And we'll skip the first part because that's always the setup about what are UFOs? What are they? What makes them tick? Where are they from? But this talks about the U.S. Navy confirmed 3 UFO sightings. We already know about those. They've been covered to death. So let's go on to the next one. This is pilots Childs and Whitted reported a double-decker flying cigar. And they actually kind of drew it. That's interesting. It's got like plumes of something in the back here. I don't know. That's very interesting. It says the granddaddy of all UFO encounters has been given professionals the chills for decades because of the credibility of the witnesses and the fact that it preceded. I think they meant preceded UFO mania in the popular media. The event happened in early morning hours of July 24th, 1948. Clarence Childs, chief pilot, and John Whitted, co-pilot, were flying an Eastern Airlines passenger plane near Montgomery, Alabama, at about 5,000 feet altitude on a clear night. At about 2:45 a.m., Childs saw a dull red glow above and ahead of the aircraft, and he told Whitted, "Look, here comes a new Army jet job." The object closed on their DC-3 in a matter of seconds and flew past the right side of their plane before it pulled up with a tremendous burst of flame out of its rear and zoomed up into the clouds. The pilot said that the object looked like a flying cigar with 2 decks and windows. One of the plane's passengers, C.L. McKelvey, also reported seeing a bright streak of light that flashed by his window. The military and scientific skeptics later challenged the account, saying that it was probably a meteor the pilots and passengers saw, although it must be pointed out that few meteors have windows for passengers or zoom straight up in a rapid climb rather than falling down to Earth. Additionally, both men claimed they got a good long 10 to 15 seconds look at the object. The event remains one of the most cited examples of credible UFO encounters. Yeah, I mean, there you go. Sometimes that's the maddening part of this, folks, is that sometimes the explanations are so far stupid that it's easier to believe it's just a UFO. No, it's a meteor that zoomed by and went up. They don't do that. That's why it's because of this fundamental force called gravity. It pulls them in. So I don't know that of any meteors that have rocket engines and stuff that shoot them up into the sky. But that's what we're left to deal with, folks. But sometimes the explanations are more far-fetched than just believing it could be a UFO. Like that is the more easy to digest thing than saying it was a meteor that zoomed by their jet and then shot straight up into the air. It defies all we know about space debris at this point. It's so stupid. I just can't believe it. I'm going to drag my chat over because I currently have it covered. And usually I do have it covered, and I think that's part of the problem. Because I got to drag it over so I can see what you guys are doing. Sometimes I would like to see when those orange things flash by that say Paranormal Portal. You looking for my attention? Why do some UFOs have windows, some don't? It's a great question. I don't know. And it could just be something as simple as, I think with UFOs, my personal feeling is that we are witnessing several different races of beings. And perhaps some of them are hundreds of years ahead of us. Some of them are thousands and some are millions. I don't know. It just seems to me it's almost identifiable. Like you see the Great Triangles, like the Phoenix Lights incident, and there's many other incidents across the nation and around the world of seeing these enormous triangles go by. But there was a long time where everybody was seeing cigars. Everything was cigar-shaped UFOs. And then there's the saucers. And they're so very different from each other. Now, are they all from the same beings? I don't think so. And maybe we're just looking at different levels of advancement, in that. Like the ones without windows, they could be just unmanned. I mean, they might just be some kind of artificial intelligence or program of some kind that they're more drone-like and they don't need to see because they're getting everything from sensors. And then there's the school buses, the ones with windows. Like, there's reports of people seeing these things and seeing aliens and the aliens waving. And I can't imagine how that would feel. Have you ever read Arthur C. Clarke's Childhood End? No, I haven't, Buzzicino. I do read from time to time, but I've never been a real avid reader throughout my life. I mean, I'm of course reading all the time when I'm doing the show or researching for shows, and I love taking a good book, but I usually read fantasy and science fiction stuff. But I really do look forward to someday cracking open some Arthur C. Clarke and checking it out. I've heard so many good things about his books, but I just have never read them. I don't know. I'm a tech heady kind of person and just always diving into either something to do with the shows or how to make the shows better. I mean, that's been kind of my motivation now for several years. I hope I'm succeeding, by the way. You have to let me know. But no, I haven't. Let me, if you want to email me a little synopsis of what it's about, I'd appreciate it because it will tell me if I want to rush ahead and get it or if I can wait. So thank you for asking, though. No, I haven't yet. All right. No other statements for me. Okay. Let's continue. It says the next one is, I'm not sure how to pronounce this last name, but I'm gonna just guess and say Astronaut Leroy Chao reported a UFO while on a spacewalk with the ISS. I think we've heard of this before, but let's see what they say. In 2005, astronaut Leroy Chao, commander of the International Space Station, reported a UFO encounter during a spacewalk. He and a colleague were installing navigational antennas when something unusual caught Chao's eye. Below him, in the Earth's atmosphere, he saw a line of lights that looked like an upside-down question mark. One non-UFO explanation for Chao's sighting offered by skeptics is that Chao simply saw the bright lights of a fishing boat hundreds of miles below him. Of course, those would have to be some pretty insanely powerful fishing lights to be seen all the way into outer space. And why Chao didn't see the lights of other boats all over the ocean has never been explained. There you go again with the stupid explanations. It's like, yeah, as Bill Engvall would say, here's your sign. Lieutenant Gorman engaged in a dogfight with a UFO. One of the most well-known early UFO encounters involved Lieutenant George F. Gorman of the North Dakota Air National Guard, who said he had a 27-minute dogfight with a UFO in the skies above Fargo. On the night of October 1st, 1948, Gorman was preparing to land his P-51 when he saw a light aircraft outlined plainly about 500 feet below him. He called the tower, but the operator there told him they knew of no other planes in the area. Gorman informed the tower that he was going to investigate, and he closed to within about 1,000 yards and took a good look at the object. It was about 6 to 8 inches in diameter. Really? It was about 6 to 8 inches in diameter. Clear white, completely round, without fuzz at the edges. It was blinking on and off. As I approached, however, the light suddenly became steady and pulled it into a sharp left bank. I thought I was making a pass at the tower. Gorman says the light suddenly charged him. When collision seemed imminent, the object suddenly shot straight up into the air. In a steep climb-out, disappeared overhead. Gorman again attempted to pursue it, but his plane went into a power stall at about 14,000 feet, and the object was not seen again. It was then 9:27 p.m. In the airport control tower, traffic controllers Lloyd D. Jensen and H.E. Johnson also saw a strange light near the airfield. In a statement to Major D.C. Jones, commander of the 17th Fighter Squadron at Hector Airport, Gorman said he was convinced that there was thought behind the maneuvers. George F. Gorman retired from the Air Force in 1969 with the rank of lieutenant colonel and settled in Texas. I don't know. 6 to 8 inches. Wow. I mean, it's like a frisbee, right? A small frisbee. How he saw that. And I mean, if it was a light, I understand, but that seems like, if it was how many feet below him? 500 feet below him. He saw something about 6 to 8 inches in diameter. What the hell kind of eyes has he got? I mean, that's got to be a misprint, doesn't it? They must mean feet or yards, 6 to 8 yards. I don't know. I can't understand it. How would you pursue that? It'd be like trying to pursue a firework. I don't know. That's crazy. Whatever the case, I don't know. Here's another one. Major Cooper witnessed a UFO, but NASA forbade reporters to ask him about it. Here we go with the astronauts. Not only the space station, of course, this is back in a little bit of history here, but even the original Mercury astronauts had strange encounters in outer space. Major Gordon Cooper, who was later famously played by actor Dennis Quaid in the blockbuster film The Right Stuff, had more than one UFO encounter. The most well-known one took place on May 15th, 1963, when he was shot into space in a Mercury capsule for a 22-day journey around the world. During the final orbit, Cooper told the tracking station at Moochia near Perth, Australia, that he could see a glowing greenish object ahead of him that was closing fast on his spacecraft. The UFO was picked up by Moochia's tracking radar, so there was no doubt it actually existed. Cooper's sighting was reported by NBC, but when Cooper landed, reporters were told that they would not be allowed to question him about the UFO sighting. Major Cooper later testified before the United Nations on the subject, saying, "I believe that these extraterrestrial vehicles and their crews are visiting this planet from other planets. Most astronauts are reluctant to discuss UFOs. I did have occasion in 1951 to have 2 days of observation of many flights of them of different sizes, flying in fighter formation, generally from east to west over Europe. Wow. And that's an astronaut, ladies and gentlemen. So that's, I mean, as far as credible witnesses go, this is a guy who probably had a long military career as an aviator of some kind and then moved into the NASA role later. That's somebody that should know when they see something in the sky that's not supposed to be there. All right, so pilot Bethune spotted a gigantic floating object over Canada. On February 10th, 1951, U.S. Naval Reserve Lieutenant co-pilot Graham Bethune was occupying the captain's seat near Newfoundland, Canada, when he spotted a huge floating object. He claimed it was 300 feet in diameter on a near collision course with the aircraft. The co-pilot stated in his official report, "I observed a glow of light below the horizon about 1,000 to 1,500 feet, or 330 to 470 meters, above the water. We both, the pilot as well, observed its course and motion for about 4 to 5 minutes before calling it to the attention of other crew members. Suddenly, the object changed direction at incredible speed and began to pulsate and change its colors as well. Then it somehow reversed its course and tripled its speed until it last disappeared over the horizon." Bethune's report says the object came within 5 miles of his aircraft, a fact proven by radar evidence provided by the DEW line ground radar at the base in Goose Bay, Labrador, that tracked the object. Again, that's pretty amazing. And these people have no reason, no benefit to coming up with wild stories. These are professionals. It's professional suicide to do that. And most of them do it past their retirement where they don't have to worry about that professional suicide. But still, I think it's pretty incredible. Pilots from Turkish Airlines were flying from the Turkish resort town of Bodrum to the country's largest city, Istanbul. Suddenly, a mysterious green light appeared over the plane. As the pilot later testified, an unidentified object with green lights passed 2,000 to 3,000 feet above us. Then it disappeared all of a sudden. We were guessing that it was a UFO. The UFO was also reported to be seen around Istanbul's Silivri district. The General Directorate of State Airports Authority denied spotting any image that fitted that description of the pilot, and doubters claim that the pilot saw a green laser pointer that was reflecting off of a cloud. Oh my God. However, it seems pretty hard to believe that pilots would never have seen a laser pointer before. Plus, that would have to be a pretty huge laser pointer to create an effect as they described. For the records, pilots do not generally report fleeting flashes of light as UFOs. Yeah, there again, stupid explanation. A laser pointer. Now, I've pointed a green laser pointer up at the clouds. I got one in my desk right here. It doesn't reflect. It doesn't just, the clouds are not mirrors. If anything, it probably reduces the power of the laser as it passes through them, but maybe to even nothing, or dissipates it to an effect with maybe a prismatic effect, but it's not going to reflect it back down to the ground. I've never seen that happen. So that is a stupid explanation. But that's these stories are chock full of them. Andrew Danziger claims that most pilots believe in UFOs. This famous encounter was recounted by pilot Andrew Danziger. It happened during a routine flight on April 10th, 1989. It was about 8 p.m. on a clear night with a full moon. Shortly after takeoff from Kansas City International Airport, Danziger saw a white disc clearly visible through the clouds just off to his right. It appeared to be flying parallel to them, matching their speed and direction. The captain of the flight admitted he had noticed the same thing since they had leveled off. The pilots described the lights. It looked similar to the moon, faintly visible through thin fog, except the two were visible at the same time on opposite sides of the cockpit. The captain and I had cumulatively spent many years flying and were accustomed to seeing day and night all manner of airplane, blimp, hot air balloon, satellite, and bird. But neither of us had any idea what this disc could be. All of a sudden, the white disc turned into a giant red ball of light. The red light hovered in the air and then disappeared into some clouds as the plane descended for landing. Danziger explains how common this is for pilots. I'm not going too far out on a ledge to say that virtually all pilots believe in UFOs. Little green men, close encounters, alien kidnappings, not so much, but with billions of stars and trillions of planets out there, you gotta believe, and almost all of us do. Wow, that's kind of cool. I've never heard that kind of a bold statement before, so that's encouraging. That's very encouraging. Buzzacino, what you saying here? Why isn't it moving? Let me move this. Oh, sheesh, where'd everything go? Let's see if I can get that back up. Where the hell is it? Oh, here we go. Buzzacino says, but what if you point a laser pointer at a cloud with a reflective UFO in it? Good point. That could change the dynamic quite a bit. That really could. I don't know. I've never tried that, I got to admit. Of course, you don't generally see those reflective UFOs very much. I'm just saying, I only saw one once, and I don't know if it was reflective or not. It was only in IR that I could see it. But anyway, let me pull up all my windows again. Everything dive bombed. I must have had my mouse on the taskbar too long or something. I had to get a drink. I needed a drink. If you're not drinking, you'd get dry. Okay, let me pull up my stuff here. Okay, I think I'm back in action. Where the hell did the chat go? Ay, these darn windows. Okay, there we go. It might be that, Buzzacino. Might be reflective UFOs. A mirrored surface, perhaps, like Flight of the Navigator. I love that movie. That Disney classic. Anyway, all right, let's continue here. Where the hell am I? What's my motivation? Who am I? Here I am. All right, I think I got everything lining up again. There we go. Move that over there. Okay, I think I'm all situated here. Everything just went boom, it's gone. I just had the blank desktops. All right, now let's continue with that article. Okay. Here's the next one on our list. Reports claim UFOs met astronauts during the moon landing. And of course, this has been around forever, these claims, and I don't know whether there's any merit to them or not. Buzzacino sent you an email about the book, but it does contain the main story of spoilers, so it's up to you if you read the book first or not. Oh, okay. All right, I appreciate that. Thank you. I will look at that when I get a chance. I appreciate it. I mean, yeah, anytime you guys have suggestions. And again, if any of you come across something in your wanderings across the internet and you find something really cool that you would like to point out to me, with paranormal stuff is most appreciated, but anything really is cool to, if you see something that's cool, let me know. So email me at paranormalportalradio@gmail.com, because, I mean, you could help. If you find good material, I'd be happy to cover it on our shows, or if you have something else that you think is really cool that I might enjoy, by all means, send it over. I'll look at everything. I'm kind of a news junkie. Not really, but I like cool things. So if you find something cool, let me know. So let's see what this says about these experiences from the people landing on the moon. According to unconfirmed reports, both Neil Armstrong and Edwin Buzz Aldrin saw UFOs shortly after that historic landing on the moon in Apollo 11 on July 21st, 1969. Viewers listening to the broadcast heard Armstrong refer to lights above a crater before his audio feed went dead for a few minutes. According to former NASA employee Otto Binder, unnamed radio hams with their own VHF receiving equipment that bypassed NASA's broadcasting picked up the following exchange. NASA, what's there? Apollo 11. These babies are huge, sir. Enormous. Oh my God, you would not believe it. I'm telling you, there are other spacecraft out there, lined up on the far side of the crater's edge. They're on the moon watching us. Armstrong and Aldrin have denied the exchange took place, but others have insisted that, off the record, the astronauts have admitted to many scientists that they did indeed see something. I don't know. Now, I get a kick out of this name, not because of any normal reason, but when you would hear these astronauts interviewed, and you can probably still find the interviews of people that took part in this, they called it the Gemini. And I don't know if Gemini is the maybe they're pronouncing it right. I don't know. I've just always heard it pronounced Gemini. But the astronaut himself was a Southern guy that was part of this that I'm thinking of specifically. He always called it the Gemini. Gemini astronaut reported a UFO to NASA in orbit. In December 1965, Gemini astronauts James Lovell and Frank Borman also saw a UFO during the second orbit of their record-breaking 14-day flight. Skeptics later pointed out that Cape Kennedy identified the object as the final stage of their Titan booster rocket, which would make perfect sense except for the fact that Lovell says he could also see the booster rocket nearby. This is their exchange. Lovell said, "Bogey at 10 o'clock high." Capcom. "This is Houston. Say again, 7. Lovell said, "We have a bogey at 10 o'clock high." Capcom. "Gemini 7, is that the booster or is that an actual sighting?" Lovell. "We have several actual sighting." Capcom. "Estimated distance or size?" Lovell. "We also have the booster in sight." And that's the exchange. What are we doing for time? I guess we're getting there, aren't we? Mercury astronaut Slayton tracked a UFO, flying saucer. Gordon Cooper wasn't the only Mercury astronaut to report strange encounters. Deke Slayton revealed in an interview that he had seen UFOs in 1951. "I was testing a P-51 fighter in Minneapolis when I spotted this object. I was at about 10,000 feet on a nice, bright, sunny afternoon, and I thought the object was a kite. Then I realized that is no kite. No kite is going to fly that high. As I got closer, it looked like a weather balloon, gray, but about 3 feet in diameter. But as soon as I got behind the darn thing, it didn't look like a balloon anymore. It looked like a saucer, a disc. About the same time, I realized that it was suddenly going away from me. And there I was, running at about 300 miles per hour. I tracked it for a little way, and then all of a sudden, the damn thing just took off. It pulled about a 45-degree climbing turn and accelerated and just flat disappeared." That's crazy. Wow. I have not seen that video, but that's pretty cool. Pilots reported a flying saucer over Bariloche Airport during a mysterious blackout. 1995, Aerolíneas Argentinas flights at Bariloche Airport in Argentina reported that it was buzzed by a luminous disk moving in a way that defied the laws of physics. According to reports, the pilot was forced to take evasive maneuvers to avoid a collision. Strangely, at the same time, there was also a mysterious power shortage in Bariloche. There was also a power outage at the airport. One Argentine newspaper reported the air traffic control personnel as saying the control instruments went crazy. The UFO was also seen by personnel on the ground as well as the crew of a police plane flying 600 meters or 2,000 feet above. Wow. That's a lot of people seeing it. FAA investigated a 1986 UFO sighting by Japanese pilots. I think this might be the famed Japan Airlines sighting, but let's read it. November 1986, a UFO was sighted by the crew of Japanese airline flight 1628 over Alaska. Yes, it is. This incident made headlines when the FAA announced it would investigate the sighting, which had been caught on radar. Captain Kenju Tarochi and a crew of 2 were in a special flight delivering French wine when suddenly Captain Tarochi saw lights to the left and right of the plane. At first he thought it was a U.S. fighter planes patrolling the border with the Soviet Union, but his opinion changed when the object suddenly reappeared much closer to the aircraft. 2 spaceships stopped in front of our face, shooting off lights. Tarochi was quoted as saying, "The inside the cockpit shined brightly and I felt warm in the face." The captain described the objects as square-shaped spaceships with jet propulsion systems that had horizontal lines of circular exhausts clustered around a dark center. Tarachi also reported the spacecraft interfered with ground communications, jamming his signals. Tarachi's testimony was called into question because his testimony varied somewhat from what he originally said to the FAA during the encounter, and his co-pilot and flight engineer described the object as nothing more than lights. However, they did not dispute that they were UFOs. The Committee for Skeptical Inquiry suggested that the phenomena was caused by light refraction through ice crystals suspended in clouds. Well, at least they didn't say it was a weather balloon. Yeah, oh my God. The Committee for Skeptical Inquiry. Or Inquiry. Huh. How absolutely inane is that? That's just insipid. Light refraction through ice crystals suspended in clouds. You don't think a pilot would be familiar with that? How stupid. Creepy audio from American airline pilots indicates that they think they saw a UFO in 2017. February 24th, 2018, two pilots... I thought it said 2017. Okay. Two pilots flying separate planes both claimed to have seen an unidentified flying object during flights to the American Southwest, not far from Roswell, New Mexico. One of the pilots reported the UFO flying overhead above the plane and denied that it could have been a weather balloon. Audio footage is an unsettling behind-the-scenes look at what the aircraft might have been. I don't know what it was. It wasn't an airplane, but it was. The path was going in the opposite direction, the pilot reportedly told air traffic control. 2004, we've obviously seen that plenty of times, so very cool. Those are some pilots and astronaut reports of encountering UFOs. Many of them I'm sure you've heard of, but a few of those I hope were new to you. I don't know. Then again, it depends on how into the UFO research you are personally. Yeah, thank you, Julia. Julia is always working the information. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, let's see. Poi, the Hawaiian food made from taro root. Taro root? Well, it's a good time, I guess, to get to the trail cam terrors. Are you guys ready? Here we go. All right, folks, this is the Trail Cam Terrors. This is our segment of the show, of the Night Terror shows, where we look at and discuss some strange things that are caught on cameras, whether out in the woods on trail cams or in security cameras or other footage. So tonight we got another one that was, this one is from a YouTube page called Drone World. I'm not really familiar with it, but they've posted a ring video on their apparently from Los Angeles, on their YouTube channel, and it's a pretty cool one. I've got to admit, I've looked at this several times before the show, and I'm like, huh. But let's have a look at it and see what you guys think. And it says ghost caught on Ring doorbell. So let me get back to this, and we'll take a peek. Are you guys ready? Are you ready? Type 1 if you're ready. Just type 1. All right, I'll play it. I won't make you type 1s. Here we go. This is obviously from a Ring doorbell camera. And ladies and gentlemen, if you look and Google, all right, Julie's ready. Chris is ready. Jordan's ready. All right, good. 3 of you are ready. That's good enough. The Ring doorbell cameras have captured a lot of weird things. And you can certainly Google that and look at a lot of the examples out there. And some of them are really freaky. Jordan, type 2. Type 2 means you're not ready, I think. All right. Anyway, let's take a look. Oh, Mom's ready. Good deal. Okay, let's have a look. This is from a Ring doorbell camera in Los Angeles. Now, it might be kind of tough to see, but the area you're interested in is right along with these cars here on what looks like some kind of sidewalk or whatever. It's a boulevard of some kind by the road. So keep watching and tell me what you think. Here we go. Just out of nowhere. And it's kind of there and it's not there. Check it out again. It's like translucent. because you can still see that car. So it kind of fades in, goes in front of that car, and then it's kind of just gone. Now, is it possible to fake this? Sure. Because we don't know that this just came from a Ring doorbell. It could have been exported, and you could do some masking and opacity runs to make a figure walking by. You can make them kind of translucent and overlay it on top of the image of just the cars there and the street and all that. So it's not impossible to fake, but if it's real, this is an incredible capture, and it could very well be real as well. So as much as it could be faked, it could be real, and we just can't know that. But again, watch it one more time. You be the judge. I think it's pretty interesting. There's really no other motion in the entire scene except for a little flickering on this light back here. So watch it again. I'm just going to watch around the frame to see if anything else has motion at all. It doesn't look like anything else does. A little bit back here. There's something here that there's a little light difference there, but so it does look like it's an actual video from a Ring doorbell, but again, you be the judge. Is it a ghostly image walking by? Some other dimensional being? I don't know, but it is weird, and weird is what we do here on the Paranormal Portal. So that is tonight's Trail Cam Terror. I hope you enjoyed it. All right, folks. I guess that's going to wrap it up for me. I hope you tune in tomorrow night. Don will be back, and we'll tear up another 2 hours here on the portal. I hope you guys will join us for that run of amazing journeys into the unknown. And hope you enjoyed tonight's show. I found it very informative. Some of those stories that we covered I wasn't familiar with, so it's always fun to learn. At least that's what I tell the minion. I don't know. A ghost wandering, looking to someone to follow home. Could be right. It could be right. Obviously, earthbound spirits or of some kind might be looking for somewhere to belong. I don't know. That's creepy stuff. Creepy thought, but you could be right. Just looking for somewhere to latch onto. You might be right. But anyway, that's going to do it for me tonight, folks. Thank you so much for being here with us. I hope you had a great time. I enjoyed you here. I enjoyed doing the show with you. And I hope you'll spread the word and let other people know about the portal, because we always want these to grow and get bigger and better than what they are now. So anyway, thanks a bunch. You guys have a wonderful night. And remember, I love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day, and remember to laugh as much as you can. All right, good night, everybody.